Hey gang, it's Tuesday, January 24th. This is episode 82 of This Isn't Cereal in My Bowl. I am one of your hosts, Ian Compton, and we got a great show today. We had our good buddy Jesse McKinnis on the show last week to talk about the 40th anniversary of Pink Floyd's Animals. That anniversary was yesterday, the 23rd, but we're talking about it today. A little side note, some technical difficulties happened in this one, a little out of our control, so there's a little bit of weird delay, a little cuts here of audio. It's not perfect. Jesse's audio is a little softer than Matt and I's, but, it's a good talk, and why throw away? So, without further ado, here is episode 82 with a little bit of technical difficulties. Oh, side note, you should listen to the new Loyal Corner. It's pretty dope. Definitely give it like a 3 out of 5. Alright, guys. Let's hit it. I think we have a guest in today to talk
we
about.
got a member of family, man.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Pulling out the big guns.
Oh, shucks.
Who's here? Welcome to the show, Jesse.
Hi, thanks, Ian.
Yes, we have Jesse McKinnis on the show, old friend, ex-band member, good guy extraordinaire.
Yo, absolutely. And gymnast extraordinaire, too.
And so many things.
So many things.
That was another life.
Because you just be, for your whole life, Jesse, just like, Jesse McKinnis, so many things.
Extraordinaire.
Just so many things.
One day at a time.
One day at a time. I used, not to like totally embarrass you, just keep talking about how much I love you, Jesse. But I remember back in like high school, I'd always be like, you give Jesse a trumpet, he'd be as good as me in a weekend. I was like, God, it's not fair.
I still remember the solo you did for like House of the Rising Sun that one year. That was, I don't know, that was a very like that was a grand old moment there.
Back in
crap, I
senior
forgot about that solo.
2010, 2011, I had women around me dancing and hanging off me as I played House of the Rising Sun through my brass trumpet. It was an amazing time.
The grand old years.
I don't think we were watching the same high school halftime show.
No, dude, there was two sequinettes. Marissa and Logan. They would dance around me, and then they would like go. They would be on my shoulders. Yeah, they would be on my shoulders as I would.
Yeah, they were the only ones allowed past the bodyguards.
Of course. Yeah. Well, let a few through.
What bodyguards? You mean Laurel and your
course.
mother?
Shut up. They both been around that long. Laurel
That's
and
fair.
my mother.
That is fair. I should hope.
Excellent.
So we're here together in all three different areas.
Yep.
Jesse's in the Pittsburgh area, Matt's in Germany, and I'm in New York. But we're here to talk about an album.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get into that album, I realized we just talked about how much we love you. Jesse, how are you?
I'm doing very well. I appreciate all the love. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm living in Pittsburgh. I'm going to school, studying nursing, and just trying to make my way along. So, yeah, things have been good.
Nice.
And now I'm here on the show, ready to talk about some Pink Floyd, one of my favorite albums.
One of your favorite albums? What would you say this is the best Pink Floyd album?
Ooh, I don't know. It's hard to like. You have to put like Dark Side in a whole separate category because it's unlike anything else they did. So like
Exactly.
Excluding that, like the rest of Floyd, Animals is pretty up there.
Dang.
Exactly. That's what got me into Pink Floyd. Like,
Actually,
before I like started, got into some habits I'm into now and listened to Dark Side of the Moon and had all. I listened to Pigs, 3 different ones. I remember I downloaded it off of LimeWire back in the day, and I was like,
man.
I'm gonna listen to this song. And like that when that guitar comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's.
dude,
I was like, oh shit, Pink Floyd's cool. Oh, look at
It's-
that pig! I like that pig in the sky.
It's funny as heck because the guy that actually got me into this album is Jesse McKinnis.
Did I?
Gave me back in 7th grade. You gave me Rush 2112. You gave me Pink Floyd Animals, and you gave me Wish You Were Here,
Shoot.
Oh,
man.
that's too kind.
dude. And I gave him Armor for Sleep.
I still have that. I found it in like my stack of CDs for a long while. Like the only thing I had was like burned CDs and just 3 or 4 of those like 2-liter stacks that they come in. But with Sharpie art, with things you think are cool in high school.
Right.
Oh, they are cool. I had a live Andrew Bird concert and a live Nickel Creek concert from NPR from you.
Oh,
that
yeah?
soundtracked one of
Nickel
my
Creek.
summers. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The only existing copy I have of Circa Survive's Blue Sky Noise is this yellow burnt memory disc from Matt Nyman. So, or was it David McCann? It was either Matt Nyman or David McCandless. But yeah, so some of the albums I have are only burnt copies.
I think it might have been him because when Blue Sky Noise came out, he went to Target and got the last
Yes,
one.
yeah, and he gave us all
shoot.
copies, and there are yellow CDs. I remember I'd never got a yellow burnt CD before. He's like, here, listen.
Yep. Yep.
Man, does anyone buy CDs anymore? I feel like it's
I
always
haven't.
either like vinyl or downloads, and then the CDs have just gone the way of the cassettes.
I don't touch them. I just do vinyls and downloads too.
Yeah.
David Beck buys CDs.
Nice.
David Beck needs
David
to release
Beck
String
sells
Machine on
CDs.
vinyl. Yeah,
He does sell
sells
CDs. I'm getting one shipped up to me. Guess I played that show. I rehearsed for that show. And I didn't even get a copy. I went over after the show and I was like, can I get a copy? He's like, we're sold out. I'm like, what the hell? I do have a shirt, though. I do have a shirt.
That's funny as hell.
Nice.
So, yeah, it was because my dad, I came, up from the classic rock drummer, jazz fusion realm. But one of the things about, it was Deep Purple, The Who, Led Zeppelin, Montrose, stuff like that. Like, my dad was like, yeah, Pink Floyd. No, it's not heavy enough. So I never, had the Floyd, that backbone. And then when I found Pigs and I got into Dark Side and all that, then it blew up for me. And, yeah, I used to hate on them. I remember, at junior high, I would, have just, I would argue with this kid named Sean McGregor on my bus. I'd be like, dude, Floyd sucks. Overrated bullshit, man.
Actually, I remember you would have that conversation in 9th grade on the bus, too.
Yeah, it
Because I
took a
would be
while.
listening to Pink Floyd, and you'd be like, why are you listening to that soft stuff? I was like, because one of my friends from my old school got me into them. And I'd, put my headphones on and, sulk in the corner.
I don't think I was that mean.
You were that mean.
I was not that much of a tool.
I might have just been that sensitive, but there's no denying the tool.
Okay, fine. Yes, I was a bit of a tool. But the year is 1977. The day is January 23rd. And Animals is spinning on the record, on the turntables for the first time. What's it about? What's going on? Where was Floyd at during this time? You were talking about a little bit, Jesse.
Yeah. So at this time, I think they'd just done "Wish You Were Here." I think was the previous album.
75, yeah. Oh, yeah, side note. Think about this, guys. In 3 years, in 4 years, Pink Floyd released Dark Side of the Moon.
Man.
Wish You Were Here, Animals. It was 3 or 4 years.
And then The Wall right after the Animals, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
That's
Yeah.
That's a solid that's a winning streak they had there. Definitely the peak of their achievements.
And it was their 10th album. We have bands nowadays, Circa's releasing, their 6th album, and I'm like, oh, is it still going to be good?
Yeah.
I look at bands with... And this is their 10th. Stevie Wonder released Songs in the Key of Life. That was, his 10th or 14th studio album. And that's, his crowning achievement. So it's the world was a different place back then.
Yeah, it's true. I feel like a lot of bands will, some of their best work is always albums 2, 3, and 4. That's where you have, a lot of heart. You look at Zeppelin and 2, 3, and 4 are solid. 1 is good too, but it just didn't gain the traction that the others did. Radiohead's OK Computer is their 3rd, I think.
3. Yep.
Every now and then you have someone who has a great debut album, but then you're right. To to have something like so monumental and like lasting to come at album 9 and 10 along the way.
Dark Side was their 8th album.
Yeah,
Like that's insane.
That's insane.
yeah.
Yep.
Insane.
That's a lot of work. That's a lot of time, and that's a lot of like refinement of your perspective to articulate what it is you have to say and continue to say new things from once you started. So I mean, that's
Right.
I don't know. I think that's a marker of brilliance there.
One of a kind. That's why doing this podcast and getting older, and I'm looking at the newer music and different decades of bands, and I just look back like, the true greats, like
Yep.
the Floyd, Bowie were true greats. Eclectic discographies.
I mean, that's what makes these anniversaries too, because we kind of bring it to light to people that don't really know music like this too. Like, it's kind of a shame when you talk to a lot of people who don't even know who bands like Pink Floyd or U2 are anymore. You know, they think it's... I was talking to someone who was in high school, and he legitimately thought that Nirvana was a clothing company.
Oh,
I was
really?
like, dude... Yeah, and I was like, dude, no. Wow. Like,
Yeah, they just sell the black T-shirts with like the squiggly smiles on them. Like,
yeah. And no one gets it.
God.
man,
No
Kurt
one gets it
Cobain's
anymore.
coming back to life. He's like, nope, I'm coming back. None of this. None of this shit. Speaking of Nirvana, I just converted Laurel into believing that Courtney Love had him killed from watching Soaked in Bleach, the
Oh, really?
documentary.
Courtney Love did have him killed.
I fully believe that.
shoot.
Sorry.
Literally, shoot.
I have no opinion on either side.
Watch Soaked in Bleach. It's on Netflix. It's like an hour and a half. Watch it and then build an opinion off of that. That's all I'm saying. So, 1977, they just released like 2 magnum opuses, and now we have this angry album, this little angry album, and from what I read, like it did well, but I think it also didn't do well in the same vein.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Maybe Jesse, you know a little more than I do about it,
I don't know. I don't know like how it was initially received too much at the time. I think everything is generally like when you have as much to unpack in an album as Animals. There's always people who are like, this is fantastic or this is shit, and then every now and it's largely like the responses are polar from one another, and you have a couple middle ground people who just aren't enthusiastic about it or just can't get into it. But Animals is definitely an album of Floyd's that I feel like it takes some understanding of the rest of their work to provide a context for it to have the most effect. I think
definitely.
yeah, it's like a really good standalone album, but it helps to understand like all the other things they did around it. Because I mean, the album's a full-length album, but it's only 5 songs. Each song is a real like
4.
long commitment of time with and being a concept album too. It's not only do you sit down and listen to one whole song at a time, it's sort of intended to listen to the whole thing from start to end. So it's definitely a sit down and pay attention to it album, and having some context helps make sense of it.
It's so fulfilling though if you give it the full listen.
Yeah,
It is.
And you get on to Pig's part on the Wing part 2, and you're like, damn,
yeah,
I did
Yeah.
it. I finished that.
Well, it's funny too, because by the end of it, like, just even the way he sings, there's a smart ass smirk in his voice on Pigs on the Wing too. That's just like, hell yeah. Like, you can tell they recorded that song last. You can tell they finished it with that song, and it's really cool because you can see pride in the music that they're doing, even with all the shit that was going around them as they were making this record. And even
Roger
touring
Waters is
beforehand.
definitely a confident man.
yes,
You mean a cocky asshole?
Yeah, he's a cocky asshole.
yeah.
No, but you know what though? The older I get, I used to scoff at confidence and people like that, but now the older I get, I was like, I respect the hell out of it.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
what life is about, is confidence.
Yeah, be proud of the shit you do. I mean, even if it's minute, be damn proud of it. You know?
Mm-hmm. There was something I read. One of the interesting things about Pigs on the Wing being split up like that and being essentially the same song, both of them being drastically shorter than the rest. I heard one of the things that so with the band going on at the time, I was reading that Gilmour had just had a son. Like the keyboardist and the drummer were off doing their own projects, and so Waters sort of took the reins for it. and stepped ahead and made the album his own project. And the thing about the opening and closing tracks, the bookends, is the way that the royalties were delivered was to the principal songwriter by song. And Pigs on the Wing was supposed to be one track, but he split it up to make the start and end coda to give himself a little bit extra helping of the royalties. Gilmour was upset about this because Dogs, like of the three, I think Dogs is the longest. He's like, it was basically
17 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, he was like, it's basically half the record, and still he was only like received royalties for a single track, while Waters was just trying to pad his income there. So there was that element of it going on, and yeah, I guess Waters is a confident man. He felt that he deserved the credit for that.
I was gonna say, didn't on their last tour too? Didn't the band get screwed out of that Chicago venue? I don't know. Like, I remember reading something, and correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, it might not have been this tour, but I think on the tour before this, they played a gig in Chicago in one of the stadiums there, where they actually they were told that it was sold out at about like 60,000, 50,000 people. And they were like, bullshit, that place can take way more people than that. So they got like a helicopter and like attorneys, and they looked at the attendance during the show while they were playing, and there was like 100,000 people there. And the band got screwed out of like 60 or 65, like $100,000 worth of royalties from that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shoot, that's heavy-handed.
Yeah, exactly. So that's fascinating that he did that right after this happened, if that is the same time frame.
It's really interesting that we found ourselves falling into talking about the monetary means of this album and the capitalistic value, because what is this album about? And I was reading a really interesting critique about how this album's so anti-establishment, anti-capitalism. You have the dogs are out to get you, the pigs who will use you, and the sheep who will just blindly follow. But then like people are like, but what did Waters do? Like, he didn't come up with a solution to this. He just made it and then sold it for more money.
Yeah,
and then not only that, but then he stole royalties.
He fell into the trap. We all fall into the trap.
Yeah,
you either fall into it or you fight it and be depressed your whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
But he totally fell into it. I didn't even know that whole screwing Gilmour out thing.
Yeah, I didn't know about that till reading up on it last night either. But that's a great observation you made about how it ties in with the content of the album. Like, that makes it such more of a powerful statement. Like, again, with context.
I also heard somewhere, too, that possibly he wrote Pigs on the Wing for his wife. Like, it's kind of a love song, but it also totally just goes with the idea of the album. So, we have this establishment that's capitalistic and, it's cutthroat to make it. But how can we ever be fulfilled and love ourselves and love each other if we don't have fulfilling relationships?
Right.
So that's what... It's so ironic, because what did Waters destroy? Relationships.
Yeah.
But
shoot.
I mean, if we're going to learn anything from our musical forefathers, do as I say, not as I do, or something. Like, it's just insane.
But I don't know, it's kind of interesting. It's real. It's reality. There are no solutions. There weren't any back then. No. There aren't any now. And we get to live in 2017, 40 years later, and talk about the same problems then and now, and keep picking at it somehow.
Yeah. It's like acknowledging these types of dilemmas or these types of like quandaries that go on doesn't necessarily free you from being victim to those same problems. And I think that's a great like statement about the album and like the story of the album there. But I mean, I guess like giving a language to something is the first step to like tooling around with it or navigating it more clearly. And so even if that's like a step along the way, it's and even though it sort of has this dark irony surrounding the story of its production, it's not necessarily damning. You can look at it as sort of a like a 1970s rock fable. Like a little parable on like how to handle these things. But
definitely, I love that. Rollo rock parable.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I guess that makes it a concept album. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm all about that.
Oh, it's totally like, all right. So excluding the bookends, we've talked about those. Let's get into the three main chunks of this album.
The
Dog
three songs.
17, yeah. Dog 17 minutes. Pigs 3 different ones, 11 minutes, and sheep like 10 minutes. Dogs. What? Okay. Can we agree that the intro, like from Pigs on a Wing to Dogs, is like so insane?
Yeah.
The build, the
yeah.
guitar.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
like,
fantastic.
For how intense of a song Dogs gets, like, it transitions pretty seamlessly from Pigs on a Wing, like part 1, and then all of a sudden you're in the meat of it. Like,
Yep.
yeah, that's a good point.
I think
right off the get-go, what's up, man?
I was gonna say, I think that really is nice too, because the intensity of that transition kind of preps you for the lyrics that are about to be happening. Because the lyrics, I mean, they're not playing around on this. They're not pulling any punches. They're saying it as it is or what they think it is in their mind. And it's really cool how that transition preps you for it musically. Because I've listened to a lot of albums where the transitions are really soft and the music's really soft and the lyrics are really messed up, and it just throws you off. It's almost like disjointing for a second. You're like, oh shit, and then you get back into it. It does a really nice job of that.
But it also lays the groundwork for, like, David Gilmour is going to throw some real cool tones at you and is going to probably rip the fuck out on some solos.
Yep.
You're like, which he does. So we got 2 dogs in this song, 2 voices. We have Gilmour in the beginning so dogs in this society, because this is a very like Orwell Animal Farm. A lot of Pink Floyd's music, especially this album, The Wall, are very tied to Orwell, dystopian futures, blah blah blah. But we have, so dogs are the cutthroat businessmen, stabbing each other in the back to get through, or much like ourselves, how we'll use people to get to the next advancement in life or whatever. Right. So we have that, and then that's Gilmour singing, and then we have Waters towards the end as the young dog being like, "Yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that. I could get to where you're going, but still be a good person."
Yep.
To be seen.
Yes.
But
yeah, definitely.
What's anybody else's takes on this song?
I mean, that's
a little bit
absolutely
of the
what I
ground.
get. And it's cool too, because I think about halfway through when the line's like something like, honestly, I'm a little bit confused, or I've got to admit I'm confused. I can't remember exactly what it is. I think that kind of helps illustrate that, because it's from a perspective of someone who's on the outside looking in. They're not, it's damning the entire way, but it's not someone that's like, and I'm the one that got you there. It's like, why are you doing it this way? There's another way. Stop using and abusing me. Stop using and abusing each other.
It is very much like Moment of Doubt. Like, for as aggressive as the dogs are portrayed, like it comes like 3/4 of the way through the song. Like, he sort of like stops and checks himself, like thinking of himself outside of his ambitions, and that is a good moment, like reality check moment there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Is that the older dog or the younger dog?
I don't know.
I think
Waters
it's the
are
younger
good.
dog, honestly.
I think because the older one towards the end starts to like talk about how, like, gonna move down south and grow old and be rich, and he's like, oh, he's kind of realizing he like stepped into the trap.
Yeah.
But still, like, saying you should do it,
Yeah. He's like this, like, if everything goes, like, he's sort of like following. I always took it, rather than as being like an older one and a younger one, I always took it like as him like following his actions to their logical conclusion. Like, what are you gonna get what am I gonna get if I keep going along this path? If I keep, just pushing my way through things and screwing people over, I'll end up here. Is
Right.
how I always sort of took it.
And I like that too, because it really makes you think about your own life too. Like, what are you willing to do to get to your goals and your achievements and your dreams? Like, listening to, especially like recently listening to the song last week, it was kind of a reality check for me personally. It was like, all right, so what do I want to do in life? What do I want to do to get there? And am I willing to do it when it needs to be done? So it's kind of cool.
True.
It makes you reevaluate yourself.
Yeah. I think one of the, I admit, I just brought up the lyrics in another window here.
No
Oh,
shame.
that's why I've been doing the same thing.
And so that the stanza that we're talking about, where he, sort of stops and has a moment of doubt, a reality check, it's almost like he talks himself back into it, because the very last line says, and you believe at your heart that everyone's a killer. And so even though he stops to reassess things, he works his way back to the perspective that's, given in the rest of the song. And what does that for him is this sort of paranoid defensiveness. Everyone's a killer. You've got to defend yourself, because if you don't screw someone over, someone will screw you over. Seems to be the perspective that they put forth here. So it's a little bit of like, I don't know, I feel like that's a good like dose of empathy. So you don't just, perceive the narrator of the song as completely negative or completely abrasive. You can see why they think the way they think.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, which couldn't have landed in my lap, like you met, at a more perfect time, because I've been really dealing with just like the fuckiness of society. Just like, they're like, why is everybody just out against everybody? And I remember growing up too, like, my dad instilled the fear of people very early on. Like, everyone will screw you over. You should only trust your family. Don't loose lips sink ships. And then, like, I remember growing up and just being like, no, everyone's good. I love everyone. I'm gonna love everyone. And then I've been fucked over, but I've also seen the opposite side of it. And there's no clear answer. People will fuck you over, but people aren't out to get you at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to be guarded, but you can't let your guard up so much that you just become cynical and you shun out the outside world, because then you just become
the thing that you
isolated.
hate.
Like,
isolated, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's such an important lesson too. Like, the antithesis of this is a degree of openness. Like, and I think that's something that no matter what you use to say it, like, once you start being open, like, towards other people, it's recognized. It's a wordless language, and I think the favor is always returned, because I feel like most people are sort of, like, cynical and defensive and a little bit paranoid. So to have that anxiety relieved by someone coming across as genuine as they can to you, I think that favor's returned a lot of times.
Yep.
But yeah, like you said,
True.
Yeah.
We're taught to love everybody, but in the same vein, we're taught that everybody's out to get us. But what we don't realize is, no, for real, like, most people are like you and I, just chilling where they're chilling, being like, I hope no one hurts me today. I don't want to hurt anyone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's life. Like, I'm going to go do life. I'm not going to hurt anyone, and I really hope no one hurts me. And maybe I'll eat some ice cream.
Maybe I'll eat some ice cream too.
Or some veggies, you're diabetic.
I definitely... we're not going to talk about my upcoming diabetes and how I'm not going to have health care.
Territory here. I think it may be time to go to track.
Oh, since we're talking about diabetes, let's talk about pigs. Three different ones.
Segues matter.
Segues do matter, Matthew.
Good old bacon on my plate.
That is like
Yeah.
the pig snorting and that synth and that bass line and that guitar, the dun 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 dun, are just iconic in my brain.
Brilliant. Yeah, it's such a nice effect. Like, the thing I love the most about the song is musically, the best parts are the parts that are hidden, that you really have to listen to catch and to get, oh, they did that? How did they do that? That's so cool.
Yeah, hearing them in these things, these nice Audio Technicas I have, yeah, good sounding
absolutely.
stuff.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. That's a song with some layers and dimensions to it. Just like musically.
Yo.
Oh, definitely. The drum. I don't think Nick Mason gets enough credit for his like drum mixes and stuff.
No.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
The only thing, I kind of have this issue the whole album too. The only thing I don't really like about the music in this is sometimes the jam band transitions are a little too much of the same riff without any change. Almost like there was a fight.
Are you talking about the guitar?
Yeah, like
when it cuts out and it goes back into that lead line.
Yep, and that lead line's there for like 16, 18 measures. Like, it's too long almost, but it kind of matches the dissonance that I think the band had at the time. Like, I could see them fighting over it, like one musician being like, nah, I need it to be this way. And the other guy's like, nope, we're keeping it longer. That's how it is. And just putting his foot down. Not naming names, but I could see, the guy who's accredited on this song pulling something like that. But
no, it's all right. I've got lead on this one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like, is your lead gonna stop? Nah, man, we're good. We're good.
But Roger, do we have to go into that part again? Yes. Yes, the answer is
you
yes.
Remember Chicago?
Because I think they go into that 2 or 3 times, and I will give it to you. Like the last time they do it, I'm like, I didn't have to hear that again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I get it. You're adding, whatever your preference is, but it doesn't need to be there.
Yeah, this is an album that like I keep in my car a lot because it's one that I have on CD, and so
Why not?
I don't know. This is such good driving music, and like the repetition of it, I think. I don't know. Sometimes you go on those long highway drives, and that's just what you want. It's like, yep, I'm fine with this playing, playing it again and again and again. So I think that's a good context.
Puts you on autopilot, and then you pass
Long
20 miles down the road. You're like, oh shit, when did I get here?
Yeah.
long highway driving. Not to jump to the next song, but like, is there a better song to merge onto a highway than Sheep? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But back to Pigs.
It's like the other 2 songs, like were of the 3 like main ones. The other 2 songs, Pigs and Dogs, have sort of like softer beginnings that like bring you into it. And Sheep is just now you're here.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like now we're going 80.
Oh,
Exactly.
Yep.
Now we're going 80.
Exactly. We're on the highway. Windows are up. Don't ruin the sound. Put the windows up. Floyd's playing. Are you kidding me? You ever get that? You're like, you're really vibing to an album, and then you get going fast, and you're like, fuck, why are the windows still up? Yeah. Laurel, we have the AC on. God damn it.
It's 32 degrees outside. Who left this on?
You guys
I don't drive anymore. I don't think about the weather.
Dude, the weather sucks, man. The worst thing ever is scraping my car off right before I go to work out at 5 in the morning. That's a nightmare and a half.
That's like the thing I always forget to do. It's like, okay, I'm going to need 20 minutes to get there, so I'll walk out the door 25 minutes ahead, and it's like, oh, your car is covered in ice, and it's going to take 10 minutes. Like, oh, damn it, I'm going to be fine.
Yeah, and you really should warm it up because, it's good for the engine, and you're just like, I do all this.
Yeah.
It's like, but I didn't do this.
It's like,
why didn't I do this?
It's like, this happened yesterday. Why didn't I learn my lesson?
Well, obviously, if we could take anything.
Well, I don't know if you guys have the same problem, but morning Matt is not on speaking terms with afternoon Matt. We are 2 different people. They just don't connect.
They expect too much from the other one.
They do.
They just like noon comes and like they swap over the offices and they hand over controls with like a stern cold look. Like,
Yep.
Matt leaves his cold coffee on the table. Like,
And then
Matt to
afternoon
throw
Matt,
away.
that freaking happened today. So I had a cup of coffee I didn't finish, and I went to lunch, and I had a delicious Subway sub, and I was gone for an hour, and I came back, and I sat down on my desk, and I looked at it, I was like, ooh, I remember I have coffee, and it's cold.
Well, at that point,
awful.
afternoon Matt could be like, fuck you, morning Matt. Beep, beep, beep. 30 seconds. Now I'm drinking bitter coffee. I'm either throwing away your coffee or drinking bitter coffee to match my mood.
Actually, no. What afternoon Matt did was he looked at one of his coworkers and said, "You did this," and then chugged it.
Chucked it.
Yep. I wasn't getting up. I just sat down.
So, I'm jumping back into it. So,
Please do, yes.
I thought it was really interesting how Waters mentions legit British political politicians' names, like that White House. Mm-hmm. It's not the White House. It's she was like the morality correspondent. I read it somewhere. It was like the British morality commissioner or something. I don't know.
Yep. And it's...
You're seeing what I read it somewhere, but yeah, he no problem. Yeah, they were declared an enemy to America because they, said something. Well, let me find the line here.
So Pink Floyd was an enemy to America because of what they said.
Hey, you White House. Ha-ha, charade you are.
Yep.
You proud town mouse. Ha-ha, charade you are. You're trying to keep our feelings off the street. You're nearly a real treat. All tight lips and cold feet. And do you feel abused? That was about Mary Whitehouse.
Dang.
The morality whatever person. Hey, and he's back. What's up? What do you know? What do you got for us?
Nothing. Okay. Sorry.
I thought you were like, I got information for you.
He like pulls Mary Whitehouse out from like the streets, like, look who's here.
Because I had a momentary lapse of reason for a second there. On the plane. Never mind. Anyway, so tell me who's White?
I will forever wonder what this. Okay. White House. It's like Mary Whitehouse. She was like the morality something for Britain, but the whole line is like about her, like, haha, charade you are, you proud town mouse.
Yeah.
And
trying to keep feelings off the street. Yeah.
Yeah. Gerald Ford declared them like an enemy to America because of they thought it was against the White House, which it totally wasn't. It was for what was apparently Britain was not a great place back then.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no! I mean, dude, if you look at Britain's history, Britain was a dark place.
I think
It was a very dark country.
Like, didn't Elvis Costello do a couple, like, in his early years, he did some real, like contemporary protest songs, naming different, like, political officials in the UK. I'm trying to think. Less Than Zero names someone. I don't know, but yeah, it's like, they're not names I recognize because, you know, obviously, like, the three of us were all born in a separate generation than Costello and Floyd. And we're also not in the UK. So, but that is illuminating. Like, I didn't know that White House was a person to be railed against. That seems atypical of Pink Floyd's work. Like, you don't like typically hear them like writing about like contemporary things like by name.
Yep. No, and apparently I couldn't find any information about the other two pigs, but they were based off of current politicians. From what I read. And I also really, I don't know if they've swore in other song stuff, but I love that, just that you fucked up old hag.
Yeah.
I don't know, just like back in 1977, Floyd talking, I don't know, that just seemed pretty ballsy.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And think about, I mean, realistically, this would be an album. Now, granted, I don't know what the language was like back then, because now we're just like, fuckity fuck shit. But I feel like this is the equivalent of a parent not letting their kid listen to an album because of explicit lyrics. But the kid really wants to listen to the album. Like, you know, the more contemporary households, I guess you'd say. So it'd be interesting to see that dynamic because of lyrics like that, because of, like, saying fucked.
Yeah. Honestly, that's something I've never noticed. Like, they're I don't know. I never noticed it for one reason or another. But that's interesting.
Well, I never, like, read the lyrics, so, like, you know, haha, charade you are. I used to sing that, haha, charade you are, haha, right.
That's the British way of saying charade.
I always thought it was, she run you out, which makes no sense. Like,
isn't that amazing? Like, we're enlightening ourselves on album 40 years old, probably, I don't know how old for you, but like probably over like 8 years old in my memory, and I'm just now realizing what they
it's like,
actually say.
This is what they've been saying all along. This isn't cereal in my bowl. Like,
whoa, no, not at all. Thank you. I don't think we've ever had a guest say the name. I love that.
I'm glad I could contribute.
You are. So, yeah, Pigs is a great song. And then I really want to talk about Sheep, because I really love when it comes in, the drums, the bass, and how Waters' vocals totally mix with the synth.
Yes.
Like, for 1977, like, that was some pretty cool shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
There, I know that for a while, like, a lot of people... thinking of Zeppelin again, I know a lot of people would like make comparisons between like Robert Plant's voice and Jimmy Page's guitar and how similar they sounded, and like you'd hear them like do things with that on even like Dazed and Confused. They like go back and forth with with mimicking each other. But here it's almost the same sort of deal. Like, yeah, Roger Waters' voice and Gilmour's voice as well are very like in tune with the synths, like the same like timbre, same. You can mistake one for the other, or they just merge really well with one another.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely, I agree.
And I was bringing up, like, that was the vibe they were going for, fading it into, so, like, his voice and the synth totally go. And it's just this It's kind of funny how like one of the more driving songs on the album is "Sheep."
Yeah.
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 Because
It's the
what's
followers.
funny is the first time I listened to this album, I was like, okay, so Pigs was kind of rough. Dogs was really long. 8th grade me was like, that was one song. Ooh. But then I like Sheep came on. I was like, all right, it's gonna be chill. Nope. Not even in the slightest.
Nope.
Yeah, for being
Not
like
even the
the
slightest.
most passive of the three types of people they describe, it definitely is the most upbeat and like driving song. Like,
Yep. Absolutely.
I think that's the one that has the Mason's drumming gets real crazy panned. I think
Yep.
towards the end. Is that
Yeah.
Sheep? Oh,
With
the
like
drumming with that
when
bass.
it's like bleeding and babbling part when like he actually kills it. Yeah.
Which I totally forgot. The cowbell in Pigs
Oh,
is perfect. It's perfect. It's like
Yeah.
the most. As a drummer who used to be into nothing but ripping and trying to be a shredder, I just appreciate just a good
good solid
cowbell, man.
rock
Just a
and
good
beat, man. Yep.
Just good cowbell. But yeah, those drums at the end of Sheep, like, I don't know. I don't think I've ever really paid attention before, but like right before we did the show, I was skimming through and I just stopped and sat back. Was like, yeah,
It's
this is just take me on. I could listen to. I was ready, like, no longer a sheep. Let's all woof at the packs and go. Fight. That left really quickly, and I made a cup of tea and I sat down and got ready for this episode.
Man, I really like too in the lyrics. I find the spiritual overtones to be highly interesting because not only is it a double meaning with the concept between a sheep and it's identifying a person, but throwing up a fucked up version of the Lord Prayer, I think was a very fascinating turn for this album for sure. Because
Oh yeah, like what it talks about learning karate.
yeah, and like the one line that I love is like, with bright knives he releases my soul. Like that's so messed up.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, and
Yeah,
like,
man.
there's the Valley of Steel bit. Oh shoot. Honestly, okay. So Sheep is the one of the three that I've listened to the least. Like I've listened to it like a good number of times, but I always end up on Dogs and Pigs.
Right.
But man, that's another line I never noticed was master the art of karate.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Through quiet reflection and great dedication, master the art of karate.
Did story time with Ian much? Sign me up.
Well, I was trying to Sunday school like, kind of thing. An interesting thing they keep talking about in this song and other songs, live by the stone, stone, stone. I took from that like a tombstone,
Oh,
like
yeah.
death.
Okay, yeah.
Living in fear of death. What would you guys think?
I could see that. Living in the fear of death. Yeah. I could definitely see that.
Yeah, I always took it like in relation to the line that's next to it. Something about like you can't carry like the weight you used to throw around, and I always thought of it as that weight being represented as a stone. So whatever like your ego is of yourself can also be a burden if you are a really aggressive person or a manipulative person. Or even in the
like that.
context of Sheep, if your perception of yourself is limited to being, subservient, victimized, just at the whims of the people above you, even that is something
Right.
that drags you down because it prevents you from, making actions for yourself or even just
Yeah.
basically like caring for yourself in whatever ways you need cared for.
sh-
So that's how I always took the stone was
Oh shit!
self-perception.
Yeah, and death could go a whole lot. With some people constantly think about death, think about what can I do before it happens or how will it hit me. So all those things that just weigh on your soul. I get that, totally get that.
Yeah. Dang.
Yeah, Jesse.
I couldn't even. And welcome to This Is a Cereal in My Bowl with your new
Great,
host,
let's
Jesse
go.
McKinnis.
And we just fizzle out.
Yeah, that's spot on.
Because
dude.
if you're too caught up on your shit, like I've been for years now, you won't accomplish anything. You just
No,
get so
exactly.
caught up in
You just-
yeah. I really needed to review this album. I needed this album to be an anniversary right now. It's like totally aligning with like thoughts that have been running my head for the past few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane.
Oh man.
It's insane.
It's a
And with
reflection.
like, yeah, this episode's getting released next week, Tuesday. They don't know that. They don't know that. But this Friday that we're recording, that shit's happening.
Yeah.
The pig.
That is.
The pig. But then, so we had our 3 main songs, and then it ends again with Pigs on the Wing.
Yep. Man.
And the no solution, but hope that maybe we can get through this. We can find a way to live a happy life within the confines of this world, because without drastic change, no change will ever happen. And for drastic change to happen, you need like a lot of the sheep and dogs to come together. So it's hard for that to happen. So I don't really critique Roger Waters for not coming up with a solution.
Yeah, I don't either.
For not.
I think one of the important things about the bookends of it is that it takes place in a hypothetical. It all falls under the premise of the first line. If you didn't care, and if I didn't care, essentially, these two people who are in love, like, didn't care about one another, what would they be limited to? And the rest, like, we'd zigzag our way through the boredom and pain, occasionally, glancing up through the rain, and then watching for pigs on the wing. Like, I took that as 2 ways. Like, if you take it as, like, pigs is the way the song Pigs goes, it's almost like, I don't know, I always think of like in the UK, how you had all the fire bombings and all the trauma of World War II, which was largely airborne since they're an island. So watching for, there's sort of that ever-present anxiety, especially in the children from the World War II generation, Waters and Gilmore. There's that, and then there's also the allusion to the phrase, like, when pigs fly. So it's sort of, a hope for things to change. But again, it all takes place under the premise, if we didn't care about each other, we would be limited to, just hoping or, like, watching out for whatever anxieties are floating above us. But you have to remember that they do care about each other. They have that solace with one another. And that's sort of the shelter from all of this. That's sort of the resolution. So if Animals does have a happy ending, I think it rests in that.
Interesting. And really, I mean...
No, definitely.
In that alone.
Definitely. What a great album.
Yeah.
I would totally give it a perfect album. Honestly, I would give it a 5 out of 5. I know Matt's not gonna agree. I think I got Jesse with me, but
it would be a 4.25. But those parts are
4.25. Why are you doing a 2.5? That's just
fine. It'll be a 4. I'm rounded down.
A 4 rounded down. You're just being an ass.
I love it, but man, I just can't get over that part that I was talking about.
That
My
one
thumb
part
got shot off in the war because of those pig bombs.
Oh, okay. It got shot off by a pig bomb.
Yeah, they just explode with pigs everywhere.
Yep.
No,
hey,
but like
I played Angry Birds. I know.
Yeah.
There you go.
But an interesting thing to remember, and I don't know, I wanted to bring this up earlier, and I'm bringing it up now, is that like during this time, this was all that turmoil in England and in America stuff. The punk revolution was brewing.
Yeah.
And so you had. Pink Floyd was not a punk band. What was it? Johnny Rotten had "I Hate Pink Floyd."
Yeah.
The shirt he would wear and stuff. But
yeah.
You had Pink Floyd, being mad with each other, being mad with the world around them, and making, weirdly enough, almost a punkish record for Floyd, just angst and stuff. And for the time it was, for what they were going through, a band, what they covered, perfect album for me, for real. 5 out of 5. Even with that guitar part. It's okay, Matt. Matt gave it a 4.5. He didn't give it a 4. He didn't round down. He rounded up.
This is on the Matt scale, though. Like, for the Matt scale.
This is on the Matt scale.
That's.
I would give it 2 Beavis and Butthead heads because there were only 2 characters. I would give it 3 pig heads and half a sheep without its wool.
No wool.
No
Harvest
wool.
Moon. Oh, jeez. Well, hey, before we let you go, Jesse, is there anything you want to rant about for like 30 seconds? Just get whatever's something off your chest.
Rants. Let me think.
Anything. It could be anything, positive, negative. I don't care. Just spew some shit.
Oh, goodness. I'm periodically caught in the dilemma between French press and instant coffee. And it solely depends on how much time I have. French press, you gotta have at least like 5 minutes. Instant coffee is instant, man. It's great, but I mean, it tastes a little bit like motor oil if you don't add like enough milk and whatever else. So like, but I mean, that's there's that. There's Westworld, which is really great. If you haven't seen Westworld, I would check it out.
I haven't seen it.
I've heard nothing but good things.
I've heard nothing but good things.
It's a good thing. It's
a good thing.
So
that and Black Mirror have been recommended to me nonstop
Black Mirror is
lately.
so dope.
shoot, that's one I haven't seen. All right, I'll check out Black Mirror. You guys check out Westworld.
I like
Okay,
it.
and I'm on the French press side. I'm trying to kill my elitist qualities that I have inside of me, but man,
Dude.
I gotta have good coffee.
You want good coffee? So downstairs I have a coffee machine called a Senso, and it's a European thing, but it makes your coffee like a K-cup, but better because it's a different style of pad, and it puts foam on the top of your coffee. And
Hey everybody, Matt uses a pad.
But is the foam still there once you get it at noon and Morning Matt has been done with it for several hours?
no, at work I have the shitty American Folgers coffee through a really old gross coffee machine that we really need to replace, but no one's gonna buy a new one. So
No one will.
We're waiting for fiscal year funds that'll never come to buy a new coffee machine.
The best thing about bad coffee is it makes good coffee taste all that much better.
Exactly.
So I will never.
Which is
turn
why I
down a
like
cup
my
of bad
patty
coffee.
foam.
No, never. I had Laurel's mom while she drinks his Maxwell House. When I was home, I was going from pennies, and I had Maxwell House. I was like, nope, keep it going. Down the hatch. Well,
All right, well, guys, it's been so good catching up with both of you. I'm glad you're doing well, Matt. Thank you for inviting me on the show, Ian. This was a blast.
of course.
I hope to do more with you in the future.
Oh, absolutely.
There's some pretty cool anniversary albums coming out, so we'll have to hit you up. Or just if you ever make anything you want to have on the show or something,
Cool.
let us know. We will have you on anytime you want to be on, Jesse.
Yeah.
For real.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Keep me posted.
Absolutely, man. Hey, we'll do.
No problem, man. Yeah, thanks so much, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Always a pleasure, brother.
All right, have a good one.